It was just another quiet night in Minden, Nevada, or so it seemed. But when the clock struck 3:30 a.m., a loud, chilling sound shattered the silence, waking Melissa Oxley from her sleep. What she found next would haunt her forever. Her husband, Ben Oxley, was dead, shot in their own bedroom. But who could have done this, and why? The investigation would lead authorities down a twisted path, filled with lies, betrayal, and shocking secrets that no one saw coming.
No evidence, no weapon. Everybody in the house says, I don't know.
Watch this video until the end to find out who was behind Ben's murder, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more suspenseful true crime stories. Ben Oxley was a man who lived life with passion. Born in January 1972, he grew up in California and Hawaii, where the ocean became as much a part of him as the air he breathed. He wasn't just another guy, he was someone who loved the thrill of the waves, spending countless hours surfing and jet skiing. Sports were a big part of his childhood too. He was the kind of guy who lived for football and soccer, always surrounded by friends and laughter. After high school, Ben stepped into the adult world with a steady job as an air conditioning repairman. But more than just his job, what defined Ben was his role as a father. He had a daughter, Alyssa, from a previous relationship, and his world revolved around her. She was his little girl, and nothing in the world was more important to him than making sure she was safe and happy. At the time of his death, Ben was married to Melissa Oxley, the woman he had built a life with. They lived in a house in Minden, Nevada, a quiet town where they could raise their family in peace. But beneath the calm, things weren't always as perfect as they seemed. Ben had a complicated past, especially with his ex-wife, Dawn, and their ongoing battle over their daughter's custody. Ben was a man who believed in protecting his family no matter the cost. He was a loving father, a devoted husband, and a man who wouldn't back down from what he believed was right. But in a twist of fate, the very thing he worked so hard to protect, his family, would become the thing that led to his untimely and brutal death. The night he was murdered, no one could have predicted that his life would come to a tragic end, setting off a chain of events that would unravel the lives of those around him. On a quiet February night in Minden, Nevada, the peaceful silence of Melissa Oxley's home was shattered by a loud, startling sound. It was the middle of the night, around 3:30 a.m. on February 21, 2008. Melissa, startled awake, looked around in confusion.
Okay, so is this gun noise like a gunshot?
Yeah, I turned on the light to wake up my husband and it's really, really bad.
But as her eyes adjusted to the dim light, she realized something was terribly wrong.
Ben Oxley was dead, shot point blank.
At first I thought I was dreaming. My ears were ringing.
His wife, Melissa, was right beside him. His little daughter, Alyssa, was just down the hall.
Her husband, Benjamin Ben Oxley, lay lifeless beside her. He had been shot. The scene was horrifying. Melissa quickly called 911, her voice shaking with fear and disbelief. When officers arrived, they found Ben, a 36-year-old air conditioning repairman and father, dead from a shotgun wound to the head. There were no signs of forced entry into the house, and the front door was mysteriously unlocked. The question loomed: who could have done this, and why? Ben had always been full of life. Born in January 1972, he spent his younger years in California and Hawaii, where he loved playing soccer and football, surfing and jet skiing. At the time of his death, he was married to Melissa and raising his young daughter, Alyssa, from a previous relationship. But now, his vibrant life had been cruelly cut short. As investigators began their work, they faced a puzzling mystery. Melissa, who had been asleep beside Ben, claimed she didn't hear the shotgun blast, a fact that baffled the police.
No evidence, no weapon. Everybody in the house says, I don't know.
Detective Ron Eglis has seen a lot. But a husband shot dead right beside a wife who claims to have seen nothing.
Her 6-year-old stepdaughter Alyssa, sleeping elsewhere in the house, told officers she'd heard a creak and seen a shadowy figure, but she couldn't say whether it was a man or a woman. Also in the house that night was Craig, Melissa's teenage brother. Everyone became a suspect. The police began their questioning, but nothing seemed to add up. Melissa insisted she was a deep sleeper.
Why don't they take you out? I mean, you're right there. Another thing I don't understand is why somebody shoots him, why did you not see anything?
I don't know. I don't know.
A gunshot residue test came back negative for both her and Craig, and the weapons found in the house didn't match the murder weapon. With no concrete evidence, the investigation hit a wall. But as the detectives dug deeper, they discovered tension in Ben's life, specifically with his ex-wife, Dawn Oxley. Ben had full custody of Alyssa, and Dawn was required to pay child support. According to friends and family, their relationship was far from friendly, and Dawn wasn't living alone. She had a boyfriend, James Matlin. Initially, Dawn and James had an alibi.
Dawn needed to pay Ben a monthly fee as child support. And from what Melissa told us, that didn't sit very well with Dawn.
They claimed they were at home that night, drinking and watching movies. But months later, in April 2008, a new lead emerged. A friend of Dawn's son, Devin, came forward with chilling information. He claimed he overheard James, drunk on the night of February 20th, talking about killing Ben with a shotgun.
Do I know who killed Ben? No. Did Dawn kill Ben? No. I'm looking you in your eyes.
Doesn't mean
I did not kill him.
Devin later backed this up with his own testimony. He told the police that both Dawn and James had discussed the idea of killing Ben to gain custody of Alyssa. According to him, they wanted him dead. She wanted James Matlin to go out and kill him. Devin said that when the two got drunk, their anger and frustration boiled over into deadly plans. When confronted, Dawn admitted she'd been angry with Ben, but denied plotting his murder. She painted a different picture. James, wanting to please her, had taken matters into his own hands. But James told a completely different story. He claimed Dawn was the mastermind, saying she drew a map of Ben's home and even went with him on the night of the murder. He also alleged that Dawn had pressured him to kill Melissa as well, though he panicked after firing the first shot. The case became a battle of words, but in the end, it was James who took the fall.
I have a harder time with Dawn than I do James, because if it wasn't for her, none of it would happen. James didn't know us.
In 2012, he pleaded guilty to Ben's murder and was sentenced to life in prison. Dawn, however, struck a deal with prosecutors. She received immunity in exchange for her testimony against James and was never charged, despite James's claims about her involvement. To this day, the story leaves an unsettling question in the air. Was justice fully served, or did one of the key players walk away untouched? What is certain is that a young father lost his life in a senseless act of violence, leaving a family shattered and a community searching for answers. Melissa Oxley has managed to rebuild her life after the heartbreaking tragedy that changed everything for her. Though the pain of losing Ben still lingers, she's focused on healing, both for herself and her daughter, Alyssa.
I think he still loves me and that I'm doing much better than I was at my other house.
You miss him?
Yeah, I miss him a lot.
2012 interview, Melissa shared her belief that forgiveness is key to moving forward. I always told her, pretty much from day one, whenever we found out who did this, we'd have to be able to forgive them in order to move on. Now, in Gardnerville, Nevada, Melissa is working hard to create a fresh start. She works at the Kayleigh Community Center, and after remarrying in 2021, is finally finding peace with her husband, David Allmet. If you found Melissa's story inspiring, don't forget to leave a comment below and share your thoughts. And be sure to subscribe to our channel for more real-life stories that will keep you hooked.